All right, we're gonna try this again, which should not have to try this again, but it looks like something happened. Let's see. Let me see how my audio sounds. See, my audio sounds fine right now, but I don't get it. I really don't. All right, well, I have to listen to myself occasionally talk just to make sure that I'm not doing anything, horrible sound wise. Anyways, I'll give the people that had to come back a few moments to get back because they're probably waiting for this thing to go live. Anyways, for anyone that is currently watching or has watched before or anything like that, essentially what happened during the stream when I was doing the part one, that's why I put this as part two. Part one, it was working up to, I want to say like 7 minutes in, where then my audio started going out. So I do apologize for that. Luckily, a lot of you guys with the comments telling me, hey, your audio is getting all fucked up. So I was able to kind of realize that before I kept going on with it. I'm gonna say this is part two. Right now we are at 9 minutes and 41 seconds of Izetta. Try to pause it, so you can join me for that part. I will leave both parts up, even though the first one does have some shitty audio. I'll explain that again later if I have to. But it helps me out just to keep both of them in perspective, so it's not a big deal. Anyways, hopefully everyone that was in the last one joins back. If not, it's it is what it is. Anyways, we're gonna start in a few seconds. I'm gonna do 3, 2, 1, go. You start and go. Same shit as before. Anyways, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, I don't know, Kaga. I mean, just the audio just started crapping on me during the thing. Yeah. Hopefully, I switched my internets around. Well, I switched what was my wireless. Professor Anime, go check his channel out if you haven't already. Go check him out. He helped me out with some of the stuff, the audio settings. Hopefully, that fixed it. Feel bad. I really do feel bad, guys and girls. Having to kind of cut the stream in half and then do that was not what was my intention. But I'll have a long discussion after so we could talk about the whole episode and kind of recap it and whatever. But oh, now it looks like my Izetta stopped working. Cool. Wow. Well, I'm running into one of my biggest problems that I've ever had. This is the first time I've ever had this much problems with one of my live streams. First time. First time I did this for everything. So currently my Izetta froze, which is cool. It happens. Let me see where I'm at right now. I apologize, guys and girls. Like this day apparently is not on my favor. So I let me see right here. I'm gonna scroll up to where I was before. I was at 10 minutes and 55 seconds. So hopefully, if anyone's playing along with me, playing this along with me, 10:55. And right now, 11:03, 11:05, 4, 5, 6. Check out my audio, make sure that's working. No, I'm not gonna download the episode. Like I said, I've never had this many issues within a stream, and I've done a decent amount of streams now, but I've never had this many issues running to it. It's only since like last week. Maybe I might have to do some like probably after this stream and after we do all this stuff, I'm gonna probably have to re-download everything. Not download, but reset everything. I want to reset my routers and stuff. I haven't done that in a few weeks, so actually no, I did last week. Actually, I don't think about it. By the way, let's just notice Sophie is carrying a train. Damn. Who made you so psycho, Sophie? Let's find out. Who's Matthias? Hmm. Also, I guess Sophie loved this dude, but Eddie betrayed her. Essentially betrayed her. Said it's like, I don't understand. Man. Oh, and there goes the missile. Oh wow. There's a shot that Sophie's hand. That was actually kind of cool. Wow. She's creating that shit like almost like a spirit bomb from Dragon Ball Z. Hmm. So that's how Izeta's gonna deal with that. She's gonna take in all the magic she can and essentially launch it. That's kind of cool. Okay. Hmm. I should be reacting to stuff happening on screen, but it's like there's nothing really to say about it because I'll get into it when I actually do the full like review for this after this episode airs. But Phoenix fighting her own battle with words. Oh, that clone of Sophie died. Hmm. Hmm. Interesting. I hope there's more to that than that, but okay. Hmm. The United States of Atlanta. Okay, I'm sure. That's what they refer to America as Atlanta in this. Okay. Hmm. Wow, they really okay. So this is going off like the real concepts of war. Yeah, Garo, Atlanta. Well, they show the Statue of Liberty. Making a big reference to something, by the way, here with that. I think they should have been better off just saying United States because I mean they showed the Statue of Liberty. I'm pretty sure people aren't gonna be stupid and be like, oh, okay. No, now we're skipping more years ahead. Now it's 3 years later. Oh, is that Izetta in the wheelchair? I have a feeling that's Izetta in the wheelchair. Yep, it's Izetta in the wheelchair. Oh, okay. Well, 3, 2, 1. It'll be finished, and yep, Izetta is over. Everyone. Oh boy. What do I start with this? I don't even know where to start with this. Oh god. You know what? To whoever's watching, put in the comments what you thought about the episode first. If you want. All right, let's do this review part. Let's talk about this whole show as a review. So first things first. Let's get the good out of the way first. Let's talk about the good things. Izetta had a very interesting concept to make kind of World War II essentially into a magical world war, and that was well done in that concept. I think, at least in theory, it was a well done idea. Um, I love the animation. The animation for Rosetta was very, very well done. I think that was probably one of the strongest points of this whole thing. And the soundtrack at times was very good. The OST is what I think was great. The opening and closing was okay. I'm not a huge fan of them, but they were okay. But those are like the only things that were good about Izetta to me. It falls apart when it starts picking up the story. And the thing is that you can tell Izetta was clearly done by a studio that has done other types of anime before, and this is you because I mean, from what I know, this is their first like major anime, and you can tell it's their first major anime. They use a lot of tropes and a lot of things that you see in other shows, and they really, really rely on that concept. And yeah, Garo, it is slightly better than Strike Witches, but Strike Witches in many ways, even as bad as that was in its own right, it knows what it wanted to be and kind of made a joke out of it. Izetta seems like it struggled with the concept of the story and the characters and just what it was trying to convey on screen. Like there was times where there was episodes that were just dedicated to fan service, and that was unnecessary. Like that was not needed. It was unnecessary. There were times where the banter and just the characters in general were not used at their full potential. It was more so that they were just there for, I'd say, just to be there. You know, I really did not enjoy Izetta that much. I don't hate Izetta, mind you. Like, if I had to give this thing between an A through F, I give it a C minus. Right now, I was gonna give it a C before, but this ending felt rushed in many ways. Like even with just the whole, oh look, it's Izetta in the wheelchair, and you know, no, it really could have been a lot better. I think that Izetta could have been something amazing if they just try to focus a little bit more and hey, listen, for a first major work, it's not bad at all. And I think C minus is something that you can clearly say is not a bad thing either. It's still a very decent grade. It's just that I would never rewatch this again. If I had the choice, I would never watch it again. Um, and honestly, it's not because it's that the animation, like I said, or I thought that was bad. It's just that the story wasn't that great, and the characters, as good as they started off, like I say right now, Fine in the beginning was amazing for the sheer fact that she kicked ass. She was very tough and really strong, and then all of a sudden they kind of break her down a little bit with when Izetta kind of rolls around and make her a lot weaker, and they give her illusion. Like they do it really smart, but they really have this kind of illusion, like, oh, she's a smart character and she's strong willed and all that. but she's really not. And then they kind of make it where it's like, well, what do we want to do with her? It seems like almost halfway through it. Um, I have to say that was, yeah, like as Garo says, that was, it doesn't know what it wants to be, and it puts like every genre of trope in the show. Like, yeah, they really did. They really should, like, even with the whole fact of Izetta and Fine being a quote unquote item together, because I mean that's clear as day, especially from the ending, right? We just saw. Um, that was that necessary? I mean, not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying, was it necessary? Because it seemed like it was just a tacked on concept that they just threw in halfway. It's like, oh, hey, you know what? Have Izetta and Fine be a quote unquote couple per se. It wasn't necessary. Like, if you watch a show like Yuri on Ice, you could see Yuri being for Victor right from the beginning, and that, while people may have issues with that, hey, I don't have issues with it because of the story garners towards it. It actually makes sure that the folks know who's watching it that these are going to be the main people that are per se in love or more so together. Fine and Izetta, it was kind of like a tacked on thing to make them into like a yaoi type couple, and it's like not necessary really, to be honest with you. Um, did I say yaoi? I meant to say Yuri. I think I'm sorry. I said all the way wrong. Like I said, I'm really tired, so I do apologize for that. But anyways, though, overall, I will have to say that I really did not enjoy this that much. I think it was really just okay. I know some of you might really like it. That's perfectly fine. Hey, listen, if you love it, then by all means, you can put in the comments. I really do apologize, by the way, for the whole thing of having to split it in half like this. It just, that's something that happened. Luckily, Professor Anime was helped me out. I think it most likely was that I was using my other router, and I think that at the same time, because I was using my other router, it might have slowed down my connection and made it weaker. So at times, that's why it probably did that. So it was cutting out, out at certain points when it was getting too hard for it to handle. So I thank him a lot for helping me with that. I appreciate it. What I will do, yeah, love it, not, yeah, exactly. What I'm going to do for people that are joining the stream, maybe at the last minute or don't understand what's going on, I will be putting in the description box a link to the first one, the first part of this. Which, even though the audio at the end sounds bad, you can still watch the first part alongside with me. For the most part, I'm talking about it. And then in part one, I will put the link to part two, so this way they're back and forth. You can figure out where to go and all that. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I hope you guys didn't mind the fact that I had to kind of cut it out to switch to this one and all that. I appreciate the few people that came back and started watching with me again. That's really much appreciated, and that's awesome. If you're watching it later and after the fact, I appreciate you having to go click 2 videos to do it, because I mean I know that it's kind of more work than it should be, but I'll tell you guys and girls right now who are watching this and who may be watching this later, I will be reviewing Occulting 9 and March Comes Like a Lion probably later today, maybe tonight. I'm not sure yet. I don't feel that great to begin with. I'm very tired, like I said, and I kind of want to review them when I'm wide awake, because like this, I don't mind being partially awake, because you don't really need to be wide alert for this. But anyways, I will talk to you guys later. Have a great, blessed day, everyone. Bye bye.